of our customers are asking about software as a service, SaaS, or cloud-based B2B integration and file transfer solutions. They've heard about the benefits, including less internal IT costs, lower total cost of ownership, more current technology, and faster time to value. In fact, a recent IBM survey indicated that 85% of enterprises are using external cloud services for some of their business processes. Many companies want to know which criteria might be applied to decide if a cloud or SaaS B2B solution is right for them, and if so, which ones to choose. They also want to know if companies with these solutions have clear advantages and better capabilities compared to those with on-premise solutions. If so, what is the impact of those advantages? Brian, let's explore this, starting with what's driving the movement to cloud and SaaS.
Sure. I'd say there's obviously the pressure to reduce cost and increase margins. Companies, as a result, want to improve B2B collaboration, but to do so in a very cost-effective manner. And because cloud and SaaS solutions reduce or eliminate the cost of infrastructure to support it, that's appealing. So just if you looked at the structural side, that's really the advantage that most companies first hit upon. And that's certainly one of them. I wouldn't try to say that's not a big factor. The infrastructure of most companies has been developed around their internal applications and integration projects aimed at internal efficiencies, and seldom have they really gone beyond the four walls. So when you start to go beyond the four walls, that's when you find yourself, okay, I don't have some of these things in place, and where do I go get them? And so part of it is I don't have them, and I need them, okay? And again, back to the partnering aspect, partnering might be the way to go there. So certainly one of them is cost. The second one is I just don't have those applications. I'd say another big one here that I sort of want to bring up, and that is the fact that most companies don't, if they have an ERP as an example, they don't have the ability to rip and replace. Those days are gone. And so they may have a pain point and they may need a solution. And so going to someone who's a SaaS-based alternative to solve that integrates well, okay? And that's a key point, is it's got to integrate well. But back to your point, or the question that people are asking, it's got to do the job first. You don't just integrate to something because it's there. I mean, it has to, first and foremost, is going to be that it's got to do the job. But secondly, rather than ripping out a whole ERP just to get one critical point, people are going to a SaaS-based approach. The other thing is, for those that maybe are still running on spreadsheets, smaller companies, okay, I can eat the elephant one bite at a time. I don't have to take on everything, okay? And I think that's a very, very appealing approach for companies that, okay, I need to really, get more sophisticated, I need to streamline, I need to automate, and I need to have a solution that's tied together across my company. But I may not have the bandwidth and resources internally to manage that, even if I could get a partner that could help me. I can't absorb it all, right?
Exactly.
So they have to stretch this out sometimes. But doing that with a SaaS-based approach is maybe the way to go there for them. And I think so in either case, SaaS is very, very attractive, particularly when you look at the fact that, big transformational, rip and replace ERPs, not sort of in vogue, I would say, these days. So.
Right. Nobody has the luxury of a 7-year implementation anymore, right?
Yeah, I've heard of a few of those too, by the way, I might add. So.
Absolutely. And as many of our customers can attest, this is no small issue. For many companies, as we discussed earlier, the number of trading partners is in the hundreds and even the thousands for mid-size and larger companies. Saving weeks or days off of onboarding time and working with the partners and simplifying integration, it can have a huge impact on companies, their customers, and their supplier satisfaction. For this, having things like pre-built assets, proven templates, configurable business rules, and easy-to-use tools to quickly set up communications with business partners, quickly set up integrations to other systems, that's absolutely key. And it's also, as we've discussed earlier, it's so critical to have access to resources that have the expertise to communicate with customers and suppliers, to be able to work with the other systems internally or with cloud-based solutions, as we've discussed. So any additional comments about that?
Absolutely. In addition, I would say the SaaS users, they show better metrics and reflect, cash-to-cash cycles 10 days better.
Wow.
So, they're just the fact that they're able to leverage these solutions and get up to speed more quickly shows in the performance metrics just all by itself. Another key area that can have some far-reaching effects is the 30% reduction in lead time that we see for those using, that the leaders have over the followers, that are not using a SaaS-based solution. So the positive impact and, faster response to customers, better service potential, less chance of a demand and supply mismatch, less inventory obsolescence, all those things, it's a compelling discussion. The cloud and SaaS solution should be considered as an excellent deployment option. And again, I go back to the fact that in many cases, it's honestly the most expeditious, as we said, and it may be the only way to move forward. I think, again, the mistake would be to freeze and not do anything where I have a need.
Right.
So if SaaS addresses that need, then I would certainly, that's a big consideration.
Obviously, the benefits are there, and many companies are sold on B2B cloud and SaaS solutions. So based on your research, what criteria should companies use to determine which solution is right for them?
Sure. That's a great question, and one that we often get. I'd say the first thing is that the solution has to work, okay? There are companies that want to sell the cloud and say, okay, but what does it do, okay?
Right.
Cloud's the mechanism in the deployment, but so the solution has to work, so first and foremost. But that may also include and involve the integration discussion, okay? Mm-hmm. Does it work fast enough, as an example? Does it integrate quickly enough? Do I meet the requirements of time that I'm really maybe trying to get to? So when I say functionality, the functionality may be the connectivity, okay? So integration may be actually part of that.
Absolutely, and I know we talked about larger and larger file movement and more volume and that type of thing. Absolutely, the file speed, getting to and from the cloud is really critical as well.
Absolutely, the scalability that that people maybe bump up against, and again, then you go back to a little bit on the design end. Are we integrating and what's actually got to move? I know, for example, in times past, there's 8 elements that I need to pull out of an ERP to run a schedule and a planning organization. Mm-hmm. And I forget all 8, but it has to do with something like the order number, the quantity, the unit of measure. And again, it's off the top of my head, but I don't need everything. I need those 8 pieces to create a schedule, and that's the point. So again, back to what needs to be integrated and move quickly. But again, that's part of the discussion when you look at what's the solution I'm considering in SaaS. So the other thing I would point out is the experience with clients that the provider has. Have they integrated with the ERP, or the other solutions I'm considering integrating with? That's certainly a consideration, a big deal. The ability of the SaaS company on the customer service side to support any problems that might surface. That's just a matter, of course, of selecting any vendor, and then their ability to integrate. What have they done? Again, a little bit of what's their experience. So those are the criteria. It's probably true in selecting any vendor, but I would go back to certainly the capabilities they've got and their experience, and does the solution work?
Absolutely. Of course, there's the technology aspect and some of the other pieces that you mentioned from the technology vendor, but there's also a lot of people and process aspects to consider with this as well. For example, we talked about the depth of technical expertise of the people running the systems. Really, how capable are these folks? What kind of experience do they have? What kind of companies have they worked with? So it's really important to explore that a little further versus just accepting that the technology is good, for example. It's critical that they understand the business and the processes and the technologies, not just the technology itself. So in working with a provider, making sure that they do understand your type of business, what your business needs to be accomplishing, understand deeply your processes. When we're talking about B2B processes, these can be very complex. So them being able to support you properly really does count on them understanding your process as well as understanding the technology that they're managing for you. The quality of the implementation and management methodology. Does the vendor have proven best practices? Do they have any type of materials that show you what their process is and how they onboard trading partners? Where are the efficiencies to be gained, for example? What tools do they have to help you gain those efficiencies? So when you're working with a cloud or SaaS provider, you're not just turning it right over to them. They're trying to help you, or they should be trying to help you improve your processes along the way. Look for those system handoffs. Be able to improve them through not only the main, I'd say, vendor tools, but also technology tools that they can bring to the table, perhaps, or people that they can bring to the table. You touched on the quality of customer service, the quality of their support, not just the ability to answer your call 24/7. Are they proactive? What other types of things are they providing you? Are they providing you alerts when something's going wrong? Are these the kinds of people that are going to go above and beyond when you need help, or identify an area where you need help and reach out to you for that? You can't just take it for granted. Cloud and SaaS solutions are not alike. There's people behind all of this, and it's very important to remember that when choosing the solution. And along with that, there's the access to the pre-connected trading partners, the value-added networks. Where are all the business partners living? And then if we're trying to move upstream in the supply chain, their suppliers, are they all connected? So the ability to be able to connect very quickly to this larger community and even gain access to some value-added tools like, again, dashboards and alerts, things that'll make a real impact to let you know when something's out of sync or something's going wrong that isn't consistent with the way you normally do business. And so it's not just about improving the reliability of your B2B integration process. It's across your business. It's across the supply chain. And you get the benefit of reducing costs and improving your efficiency, and of course reducing the burden on IT, both resources and infrastructure. Faster time to revenue is a huge benefit with this, especially as companies are moving into new geographies, expanding their documents, want to integrate with more of their business partner community, as you suggested earlier, as they're expanding into communicating with more suppliers and partners. The ability of the B2B SaaS or cloud solution to keep up with that is really key. This and a lot of other factors work together to ensure a more successful B2B integration initiative. We will explore this in our next segment.